Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we will be talking about something that I did not expect to talk about this election season, certainly not make an entire video about, that being the 2024 United States Senate election in the state of Nebraska. So Nebraska is a state that voted for Trump by who knows how many points. Trump, of course, absolutely swept the state of Nebraska in 2020, and it has been consistently red. In 2022, they elected a new governor, Jim Pillen, and it's always a sweep in statewide elections in Nebraska for the Republicans. But just yesterday, this new poll has been released that does not only show a close race with an independent candidate matched up against the incumbent Republican senator running for re-election, that being Deb Fischer. Not only does it show this independent putting up a good fight, it shows him beating Deb Fischer in this 2024 Senate election. So this came as a huge shock to many for many reasons. I mean, this man is Dan Osborne. No one has ever heard of this guy. No one even knew he was running for Senate, but he is an independent, a legit candidate, and he is running an extremely serious campaign here in Nebraska. So this guy, Dan Osborne, is the president of a union among bakery, confectionery, and tobacco workers, I guess. He only has $47,000 cash on hand, while Deb Fischer has $2.6 million. Dan Osborne has spent $8,600 on his campaign, while Deb Fischer, somehow, don't know what she's spending it on at this time, but she has spent $1.8 million, and this poll still shows Osborne up. But I didn't even show you the poll. In this Senate poll, Change Research is a liberal firm. That's what I've been told, at least. I don't know what their record is of accurate polls or whatever. We don't know a sample size yet. That might be released. We don't know the margin of error, and we don't know how many undecided voters there were either. But we do know when we have a Osborne versus Fischer race, no Democrat, mind you. Remember, Dan Osborne is an independent. I mean, looking at this race, there is no Democratic primary section. The Republicans are going to put up Deb Fischer. Dan Osborne is running as an independent. And we'll get to this further, but there's not even any Democrat who has already declared their candidacy. So in just a Deb Fischer versus Dan Osborne race, Dan Osborne wins by 2%. Yes, it's close, 2%, but we still have to keep in mind that he is winning this poll. It's not like he's coming up 2 points short. No, he is winning this poll, which is absolutely incredible to me. So this combined is what? 78% of the vote. So, that last 22%, maybe some of them are voting for Democrat, maybe there was a Democrat option. Because, this source that this poll is coming from, it's just from this article. So it's not like they put out some report, some, 20-page long PDF like Emerson, Quinnipiac, Trafalgar do. No, it's just a news article from Change Research. And they just, said what matters. Dan Osborne has 40%, Deb Fischer at 38%. So, obviously, I don't know Dan Osborne's politics very well. Cut taxes. That's, more conservative. Legalize marijuana. That's more liberal. No more soldiers on food stamps. That's very independent. Lower taxes. Well, we just said that. Reform railroad safety, that's independent. Term limits, that's independent, definitely. So keep government out of our private lives, that's conservative. So, I mean, I'm not an expert, obviously, on Dan Osborne's politics. I didn't know who he was before yesterday. But what I can tell you is that Democrats, any day, are going to pick him to be in the Senate than Deb Fischer, right? So I think that looking at this poll, Democrats need to drop what they're doing and endorse Dan Osborne immediately. It would be the stupidest thing on earth for them to run their own candidate because this election could be extremely interesting going into 2024. If it is a Osborne versus Fischer race, no Democrat, or with a Democrat, it would not be so interesting. Because I can certainly tell you this, the Democrats are going to pull from Dan Osborne, a Democrat, in the race. And that I'll also tell you that there's 40% for Dan Osborne right now. A lot of it is from Democrats. So Dan Osborne is building this coalition quietly with his $47,000 and his $8,600 that he has spent. He is building this coalition among Democrats, definitely, which he needs. And again, Democrats should not run their own candidate because of this. Independents, as he is one, and clearly Republicans. Trump won Nebraska with what? Probably 65% of the vote, if not more. And Deb Fischer is only at 38%, practically half of that. So Dan Osborne is clearly somehow winning. Republicans, they clearly know who he is. I guess there's a lot of anti-Deb Fischer sentiment. I actually saw the updated list of the most popular senators. They do that polling quite frequently. And Deb Fischer, if I remember correctly, I think she was doing terribly. I think she was very unpopular. So it could be very interesting where this goes. But again, Democrats need to get behind Dan Osborne because he will be a lot better in the Senate. He'll be a lot more liberal than Deb Fischer. Deb Fischer is extremely conservative. You know how she is. She's running for her third term. So I'm extremely excited to see how this goes. And I'm not necessarily saying that I think that Dan Osborne will win. I mean, again, this poll is from a liberal firm. It's probably, as many, low-populated rural state polls are, it's probably pretty inaccurate. I obviously think that Deb Fischer would win if the election was held tomorrow. However, if this is on the radar, I mean, this really could change up everything because, now they've got to divert money to Nebraska, a state that was not on the RNC's radar going into 2024 for the Senate elections. They need to put the money where it matters. Ohio, Montana, Wisconsin, Nevada, Pennsylvania, maybe. And I can tell you, the last thing they want is for another state to be competitive and another state to be on their radar, which is the state of Nebraska. They do not want to divert any of these funds, any of this attention that actual swing states should go to. So, they've got to try their best in all these swing states. So Ohio, Arizona, as I said, whatever, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. But now they need to look out for Nebraska. We definitely need more polls here. But it's something that they still need to look out for. So, and, that's tough because they're going in, both parties are going into a tough 2024 Senate elections. It's not like the Republicans will flip back the Senate in a sweep. It'll definitely be pretty close. They have to flip 2 Senate seats to have the majority, 51 seats, and that will be difficult on its own. But now they have to make sure they have to defend Nebraska of all states. So thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all later.